Hello and welcome to today's lesson, which is improper fractions and mixed numbers. So let's have a look at this first of all. So what does 1/4 or a quarter actually mean? So we should already know what this means, but this means that if I've got a whole or something of whole, in this case it'd be all of this rectangle, I've got one of these parts which are split up into 4 shaded. So if I was to do this, I've got one part out of 4 shaded. Brilliant. So next up, let's have a look at this one here. So what does 5/4 mean? Now this means that each of my holes are split into 4, and you'll notice I've done that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But it means I've got 5 parts of them. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I've got 5 parts shaded, and each of the 4 holes are split up into 4. Now, there is another way I can write this. Okay, here I've got 5 out of 4, but you can also see that I've got 1 hole and a quarter shaded. Now, these are the two different parts. So today, as I said, we're going to be looking at improper fractions and mixed numbers. So if I want to write this one here as an improper fraction, I'd write it as, let me just make sure, improper fraction. So improper fraction, I'm just making sure I'm spelling this right, improper fraction. So if I want to write this as an improper fraction, then I can write that as a 5/4. And if I want to write it as a mixed number, the way I'd write this is I've got 1 whole and I've got 1/4. So 1 and 1/4. And this here represents the whole values, and this is the fraction which is left over. So you can see from this, I've got 1 whole here, like so, and I've got 1/4 left over. So this is an improper fraction, this is a mixed number, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So let's have a look at this one here. So with this one here, how can I write this one as an improper fraction and as a mixed number? Well, if I look at this, what am I split up into first of all? You can see, similar to the last one, I'm split up into quarters. So I know that it must be out of 4. And how many have I got shaded? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shaded, 7 out of 4. But the other way I can write this is that I've got 1 whole, and this time I've got 3/4 shaded. So with this one here, there's 2 ways I can write it. I can either write it as 7 out of 4, or I can write it as 3 out of 4. Okay, so let's have a look at these ones here. Now, actually, that first one is exactly the same as the one of just the one at the start, isn't it? So it's going to be how many? I've split it up into 4, so it's split up into 4s or quarters, and I've got 5 out of 4, or I've got 1 whole and 1/4 left over there. Now let's have a look at this bottom one, because this one's a little bit different to one we've done so far. So first of all, if I want to write this as an improper fraction, what are these circles split up into? Well, if you look, there's 2 parts to each circle, so they're split up into halves. So they're split up into halves, and how many halves have I got? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 halves, or 7/2, if I want to write this one as an improper fraction. So the question then is, how can I write this as a mixed number? Well, how many holes have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3. So I've got 3 holes, and then I've got 1/2 left over. So that's the 1, 2, 3 holes and a half there. Brilliant. So the next question is, if I don't have a diagram, how do I get from here to here? Now, one of the main reasons that you get taught remainders in primary school or wherever you've been taught it is for one of these techniques, because the question you've got to ask yourself, and remember, this here is a fraction, but that just means 7 divided by 2. That's all it means. What is 7 divided by 2? And the question here is, how many times does 2 go into 7 and what's left over? So how many times does 2 go into 7? Well, it goes in 2, 4, 6. 8 would be too big, so it goes in 2, 4, 6, 3 times. Notice the 3. And how many's left over? Well, I've got 1 half left over. So let's have a look at some of these questions. Now, I'm going to tell you to get these ones down in your notes. This here is example 1. Remember to make sure you're getting these down in your notes. The only way to learn maths is to do it. So, example 1. Example 1. And here I've got 3 over 2. Now, this is written as an improper fraction. So, I'm converting here from improper fraction to mixed number. Improper fraction to mixed number. So the question I ask myself is, how many times does 2 go into 3, bottom into the top, denominator and numerator, and what's left over? So how many times does 2 go into 3? Well, 2, 4 is too big, so it goes in once, and what's left over? Well, there's going to be 1 left over, and it's out of the 2. Brilliant. So that's that question done. And that is exactly how you convert these. So let's have a go at some more. So example 2. It's probably worth writing here on the side of your notes how many times does the bottom go into the top and what's left over. Because that's how we do this. How many times does the bottom go into the top and what's left over? If you need to pause to get that down now. So let's have a look at 13 over 6. So how many times does 6 go into 13 and what's left over? Well, 6, 12, so 2 times, and what's left over? 1 out of 6 this time. Okay, still out of 6, it's still split into 6 parts. And that's there. If you now converted from improper to mixed number. So let's have a look at example 3. So we'll look at example 3. So this time it's 20 over 7. How many times does 7 go into 20? Goes in 7, 14, 21 is too big. So 7, 14 twice. 2 wholes. And what's left over? Well, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 6 left over there. So 6 out of 7. So 7, 14, it goes in twice. And there's 6 left over. So that one's a little bit tricky because it's a bigger number, but we can still do that. So here, so next one, example 4, 19 over 6. So how many times does 6 go into 9? And what's left over? Well, 6, 12, 18, it goes in 3 times this time. And what's left over? Well, there's 1 left over from 18 to 19. So 6, 12, 18, yeah, 1 left over. 18, 19, and 1 out of the 6, because the denominator is the 6, and it's split into 6 parts. Brilliant. So, what I'm going to suggest now is pause this and have a go at these questions. So I'm going to make this big for you, so you can have a go. So pause that and have a go. Okay, I'm going to pop the answers up for these ones. So mark these in green. Brilliant. Okay, so we've had a look at improper fractions to mixed numbers. So now we're going to be looking at the other way around, which is mixed number to top heavy. Or, sorry, improper. From mixed number to improper fractions. So, with this one here, let's have a go at this question here. So I want to look at this one here first, which is, I've got my mixed number, which is 3 1/4. So how do I convert that to an improper fraction? Well, the thing we need to look at here is, first of all, we're going to use this diagram. So if I've got 3 wholes, and they're all split up into 4, how many parts have I got there? So having a look on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 parts there. Now, is there a quicker way for me to do that? Yes, there actually is. The quickest way to do it is to do 3 times by 4. So that whole number, I've got 3 wholes which are split up into 4 parts. So 3 wholes which are split up into 4 parts. So the way I do this is 3 times 4, because 3 wholes split up into 4 parts. And then, how many have I got left over? Well, in this case, I've got 1 left over. So 3 wholes split up into 4 parts. So 3 times 4, and the 1. And then this, remember, this is what we're dividing by, is what they're split up into. So these are split up into 4 parts. This here is how you convert the other way around. So 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 1 is 13 over 4. So let's just check that with here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 over 4. Brilliant. So that means I've got 13 parts which are split up into 4. Or the other way you can say it is I've got 3 wholes and a quarter. Now the 3 wholes, remember, are split up into 4, so 3 times 4 plus the 1 is 13 over 4. Absolutely brilliant. So let's have a go at some more of these. So now I've put here the method to do it. Try not to use that. Try to just make sure you understand it. So I've got 4 wholes which are split up into 5. So remember, this was here as example 1. Make sure that's in your notes. If you need to pause, then pause. Example 2, and here I've got 4 and 3/5. So 4 and 3/5. So I've got 4 wholes which are split up into 5. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Okay, so that's 20 plus the 3 is 23. In fact, let's just make sure we show it. 4 times by 5, so 4 wholes split into 5 parts, plus the 3, all divided by 5, split up into 5 parts. So 20 plus the 3 over 5, 23 over 5. Brilliant. Let's have a go at another example. So I've got 3 examples here, and I'm going to let you have a go at some yourself. So 5 and 5 over 7. So 5 wholes split up into 7, so 5 wholes split up into 7 parts, plus the extra 5 over 7. 5 times by 7 is equal to 35, plus the 5 is equal to 40 over 7. Brilliant, that's that next one done. Example 4, 6 wholes and 7/9, which means I've got 6 wholes which are split up into 9. 6 wholes split up into 9. Plus the 7/9, all split up into 9s. So 6 times by 9 is 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54. 54 plus the 7, let's just make sure I'm getting that right. 54 plus the 7, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. Yeah, 61. So 61 over 9, like so. Brilliant. And that's example 4. Next one. Last one. So here, this is example 5. I think we should probably be getting this by now. So 10 wholes and 3 out of 10. So I've got 10 wholes which are split up into 8. So 10 wholes which are split up into 8 plus the 3 8s. And remember, they're all split up into 8, so that's where that comes from. So 10 times 8 is 80, plus the 3 is 83 over 8. And that's there how you convert from mixed numbers to improper fractions. So we've done both ways now. So have a go at these ones. I'm going to pause now so that you have a go at these. Okay, I'll put the answers up. So mark them in green there. So brilliant. So thank you for watching our lesson on mixed numbers and improper fractions. Remember to make sure you're having a go at these questions. The only way to learn maths is to do it, and have a wonderful day.